Yo, family, what is good? Welcome back once again to another Casper crypto live stream. Still very much focusing on Casper right now because it is the asset that I have the most belief in, but that transition to talking more about general crypto will come back again for those who do at least care about that. As it stands, we are looking at the market chart. Casper's currently down 3.62% on the daily time frame. It was down a lot more earlier when Bitcoin was showing a lot more weakness, as was Ethereum. And in my personal belief, as I made a video on earlier today, I would like to believe the reason for why is because of the Zcash FUD. Zcash core developers resign collectively after board dispute, form new company to advance privacy tech. Now, why do I believe that Zcash kind of falling apart would significantly impact the entire crypto market? Of course, the recovery is already in from the looks of things, but the reason why I believe that is because we can all wholeheartedly agree with that Q4 2025 last year was probably the worst fourth quarter we have witnessed in crypto's history, or one of the worst, most definitely. It was not a good year, and everyone was screaming October, I mean, myself included, but of course further research told me otherwise, but everyone was screaming that it was going to be a very, very good last quarter of 2025, and it wasn't. Zcash was one of the few that performed well, and it was the best performing cryptocurrency. As of October 1st, was up 10x in value and then finished the year at around a 7x from that bottom if you got in at the beginning of the fourth quarter. It was a very strong performing asset. So when you have the best performing cryptocurrency, the meta seemed to be with privacy tokens, and Zcash seemed to be holding a bit of a monopoly on the price. And then you see such disastrous news in this regard, and a key reason why true decentralization really matters, because this would not happen with Casper. Don't get me wrong, if, and touch wood, hopefully never happens, but if there was a situation where Son Polinsky, Michael Sutton, where you have Ezio Dev, you have Hans Mugen, and Crypto Aspect, all the other kind of key crucial members, if they were to up and leave Casper, there would be FUD, of course. We understand that. But at the same time, Casper is a truly decentralized project. So that would impact the price because people perceive these devs as the founders because it's just how the crypto space become, but it wouldn't have the same impact. This is literally the centralized entities of Zcash disbanding due to a dispute, and that's the issue with not having true decentralization. Zcash was down over 20% earlier today. It's made a bit of a recovery now, 19%. It was down, I believe, 20% earlier today, if not more so. It's now currently down 8.26, so it made a bit of a recovery off that. I don't necessarily believe that this news alone will send Zcash down to zero like you saw with Luna or with Monero or any of the other assets, but it will impact it. No doubt about it. We'll see what happens going forward, but this is why I think we saw the market correct the way it did. We're seeing the recovery in right now, which is always good news, but there are other circumstances taking shape right now, other developments that has caused this market volatility. The reason why the market, I think, made a bit of a recovery right now, actually, is due to some recent macro reports, which I've already shared to my VIP community regarding the services PMI, which came in very, very bullish. If you don't know what they are, go look it up, or you can equally check into the VIP and you can learn all the insights and break down then as to why it's such a big deal that we saw the services come in the way it did. So hopefully it will continue going in that manner. But the markets are starting to pick up a recovery. Casper did touch that upper level of resistance and support here, which, I mean, these zones have been drawn out for months and months now. The zones are proven to be critical support zones. So when you saw Casper touch there, seeing the rebound is completely expected. As it stands, I'd love to see Casper make a return back into the support band of 4.8 to 5.2 cents. I personally think it's unlikely right now. You're going to probably see Casper finish today, trading day, in this zone here, meaning you're going to probably see Casper correct a little bit further tomorrow. Of course, it does depend on Bitcoin and Ethereum's price momentum. It will heavily depend as well on the job report coming out tomorrow. If they are good, you'll see probably the market start to make a bit of a relief. If it's bad, you'll see the markets continue to start dumping more and more and more. Of course, we'll cover that in my VIP in real time, and you'll hear about it a bit in tomorrow's live stream as well, so stay tuned for that. It will be at 8 p.m. BST, not 9 p.m. BST like it is right now. You can find out more information about that in the free Discord server as well. Now, as we look further into the market and we look further into what's taking shape right now, we have got some other interesting sources that's come out, and we'll get into this before we get into the headline of today's content, which is the multi-billion-dollar law firm, which, by the way, is Baker McKenzie, who, just for reference, $3-4 billion net worth, although the way you value net worth in McKinsey is a bit different due to how they function. But what you have to understand is Baker McKenzie, they are a very well-renowned law firm. Their client base is responsible for 90% of the Fortune 500 companies. So they are very well trusted in Wall Street. And they made a document very, very recently that I posted to my VIP community with the link in there, and equally put a bit of a snippet on my Twitter page earlier of what the article stated here, which for me is a very, very big signal for Casper. And we'll get to that in a very short moment. Before we do, we have this posted from Kalshi, a prediction market, similarly to a poly market, which suggests that the Supreme Court will be issuing a ruling on Trump's tariffs tomorrow, and there's a 70% chance they rule against them. Once more, to keep talking about it, me and my VIPs, we spoke about this months back, about the so-called red herring, or the seemingly big factor that people seem to forgotten about now. Supreme Court decision on Trump's tariffs could cause a lot of volatility in the market. Now, upon doing further research, according to Forbes magazine here, Supreme Court could rule as soon as Friday. So it's not a guarantee that we're going to be seeing the Supreme Court ruling tomorrow. It's just a possibility we do so. If we do, I do very much believe we're going to see the Supreme Court go against Trump, and we'll see how he wants to navigate around that ruling. If he does afterwards, of course, we'll wait and see. But I do think, regardless of when the verdict comes in, that the Supreme Court will rule against Trump, and that will probably cause some form of headwinds. Of course, time will tell, but the Supreme Court is now deliberating on the legality of Trump's widespread Liberation Day tariffs and whether the president could legally impose the duties under the International Energy Economic Powers Act, IEEPA, the law Trump used to justify his policies. I have seen further information months back when I was looking into it. There are other manners in which Trump could probably utilize to still to enforce these tariffs. Whether he will do so, whether he'll be able to get away with it, quote unquote, well, time will tell. But this is one thing that me and my VIPs have been aware of for quite some time, about the manner in which these tariffs could impact the market, the geopolitical tensions, and ultimately allow us better prepared for the market sentiment and what is going to come. So if you want to find out more, check out the VIP 7-day free trial, and equally a 1-month free trial if you sign to BYDFI. All information in my free Discord server, and the links to that are down below in the description. But that is one element to take into account in the immediate short term. And equally, also importantly, the Clarity Act. We spoke about this a bit more recently as well. The market structure bill. Regulations are so crucially important, as I mentioned in the video I posted earlier, and in accordance to this other classified document from Signet Bank, which was posted last month by them and to my VIP community the day it was released. Their primary reason, or the so-called institutional primary reason for not investing into crypto right now, to not putting their billions and trillions into crypto, there are a number of reasons. One of them, the main big one, is regulatory uncertainty. So that means the developments of the Clarity Act are very, very important. Very important. And according to this post here, Clarity Act timeline per Ella Terrett, who is the former Fox business journalist, who's currently also now the host and journalist of Crypto America, which I believe is on the Say chain, actually, interestingly enough. But she basically stated that after talking with her close friends regarding her thoughts on when she personally thinks the Clarity Act will get to Trump's desk, she stated it's slated to pass out of the Senate Banking Committee next week, then get merged with the Senate Agricultural Committee's portion once the text clears. From there, it heads to the floor for a full Senate vote, back to the House for final passage, and ultimately to Donald Trump's desk. She believes it will get to Trump's desk to be signed into law by March at the earliest, and she clarified here, March is the absolute earliest. So we're going to see some, hopefully, positive developments on the 15th of January next week, when it does go back to the Senate. But that won't be it being signed into law. Of course, it's still a speculative guess, but it's backed by her knowledge and the talks you have with certain people, but she believes that March will be the absolute earliest we see the clarity out, which therefore does mean we could see the market start to make some recoveries as the legislation starts to progress more so. But we won't see the markets, at least in my personal belief, it's not financial advice, we won't see the market make a significant run up until that legislation is implemented, because that's when the institutions will have that clarity to want to start hedging their bets into crypto. So we might see a bit of a run up in Q1, developments still ongoing, some price start to recover a little bit, and then hopefully, which we've seen from multiple other documents and my institutional premium insights as well, they believe that the first half of this year will see Bitcoin return to all-time highs and then some, which we can only hope that will be the case. So that means we might see a bit of a run up in Q1. And then if all the macro reports look good, if the political stuff is not too overbearing, and the market structure bill comes out, giving the institution some sentiment and some belief in where the market's going to be going, we should start seeing from Q2, which by that point, Igor Labs will be live. And you'll see many other projects, I'm sure, be like, you might see the hard fork for Casper by then also coming out. Q2 could be a time where you see the market start to actually make that push up again, and then you see what happens from that point onwards. But of course, that's quite a ways away, so we'll circle back to that as time goes on. Now, wrapping up for a little bit right now, kind of be firing off all these key information quite quickly, which I'm quite surprised by. We're going to take it down a peg, slow it down a little bit, talking about some Casper wallet action, and then we'll get into the good stuff here. So according to Casper Stream here, going to the addresses right now, we can see that the wallet 1, entity X, the unknown individual, has made a significant purchase today of 15.7 million Casper, currently now holding 1.269 billion Casper, which is absolutely insane. Insane amounts. They're currently holding just short of 60 billion. Of course, that's correlating to the price right now. So they probably spent a lot more on that holding the Casper they have right now. You saw many inflows coming in from Kraken and equally a little bit from Bybit. This wallet has bought from Bybit, from Kraken, from Gate, from KuCoin. Nobody knows who they are. It looks even like Crypto Pumps or a tag of Crypto Pumps also giving them some Casper as well, interestingly. But no one knows what it is. Of course, we speculate it's Binance, we speculate it's Wintermute. It's most likely a market maker in my personal belief, but who knows? People are speculating it's Michael Saylor, that it's CZ. Who knows? It might even be a KII entity, considering all the massive developments they're doing and the partnerships they have, like SGCC, like PwC, Shell, DHL, Hyundai, Bosch, EOS Energy, Siemens, EDF. I'm going to keep listing them off because it's like a sleeper agent in my mind now, but we don't know who this is. Either way, we know they've got a lot of Casper and they are still stacking more and more. They've been stacking since March 2024, almost 2 years running now. And they're holding a lot. They are an Aquaman and they're continuing to stack their bags. We'll see what this correlates to as time goes on. But it's interesting stuff nonetheless. We'll see how many more. We've seen quite a substantial number of movements happening today as well. We've seen some big outflows here. 19 million coming out from wallet 53 here. 16 million from this Kraken wallet here, which went into wallet 1 as we just saw earlier. We also saw a big inflow from this wallet 10 of 20 million, which is quite significant. They've actually scooped up 209, basically 210 million Casper in the last month. So pretty much their entire Casper holdings has come in the last month, and they're now the 10th biggest Casper wallet holder. So whoever this is, I would like to speculate, and I highlight speculate because it's not guaranteed, that it's probably a form of exchange or market maker in that regard, because they had no holdings or limited holdings of Casper, and in the past month, they're now holding 200 million plus. This entity, this person's got a lot of capital. It wouldn't be outrageous to believe it's some form of exchange. Of course, no tag on it right now. We could try and look more so to see where the transactions come from, but I don't think I'll be able to depict. I've not done too much in-depth research into this, but we're seeing consistent inflows of 1.5 million Casper. They're all round numbers, interestingly as well. 3 million, 1.5 million, 2.5 million, 2.5 million, like clockwork almost. A lot of them also happening, well, you see this here, all happening on the exact same day, pretty much within a minute of each other. 2.5, 2.5, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2.5, repeatedly. So whoever this is, for me, this capital will likely call it to an exchange listing, but of course that will that'll be revealed as time goes on. Now that we got the smaller stuff. I say smaller stuff. The wallet movement still significant, no doubt about it. Now we've got that out of the way. I will get into the big headline news. But before we do, I know I keep teasing you right now, but let's welcome back everyone more to the live stream. We had Dimitar here first. As always, Future Crypto Elite is here. Casper will not faces, no doubt about it. Couldn't agree more. Welcome back, my man. Welcome back, Adam, as well. When is America going to take England? Hopefully never, if I'm being honest. But, you know, welcome back, brother. You're doing very well. So you're enjoying yourself in the chat, as always. We have Kryptoni here, as always. Welcome back, brother. Almost time for quick Casper news. It is officially time for that quick Casper news. I'm firing off these sources right now. How pretty much right now in flow state, I like to believe, while talking about this news. And yeah, it's exciting stuff, and we've got a lot more to cover in today's stream. So stay tuned. You bought 5k more today. Shout out to you, Adam, man. Keep stacking that bag. Yeah, and Zcash parent company had a falling out, and that's precisely why you saw Zcash down almost 20% today. Why I believe the market also saw a bit of a correction as well. Made a bit of a recovery now, thanks to stability, and also thanks to the macro reports, in my belief. But being that Zcash one of the best performers in Q4, and then coming out with this sort of news the way it did, I'm not surprised at all that we saw the markets correct. But the market's recovered already, which is good news all in all. Good news all in all. We're seeing recovery pretty much across the board for the most part. Welcome back, LB Crypto Bro. You're doing very well. Let's go indeed. Get ready for a 1.5 speech pattern. Yeah, I can say I'm very much in flow state, but I'm speaking very quickly. I can attest to that much. But I'll try and slow it down a little bit for those who are finding it maybe hard to understand. The good news, because I'm in flow state, in my perception, because I'm actually articulating it well, it means that hopefully it's not too impossible for it to be understood, because normally when I'm speaking so quickly, I also slur my words so you can't even understand what I'm saying, but I think I'm getting it out today. Either way, I'll slow down a little bit. Welcome back, Blaze. You're doing very well, and you too, Wyatt, here to present and listen, as you are always. Welcome back, my man. Those Facebook twins for pushing Zcash, right? I don't use Facebook. I want to, especially because it's quite a big social media platform, especially in the crypto market as well. But Meta are very funny about creating new accounts. I tried to create a new account a few months back for the purpose of pushing out Casper content, and before I even had a chance to post anything, I was immediately banned. I think it's quite soon after that Meta had that lawsuit. So I'm going to give it a go again at some point, but I'm not too well versed with the Facebook twins, unfortunately. Welcome back, Double D, but you did very well. Cardano, yes. KDA is also another example of just a project going kaput due to a lack of fundage, or just the developers just splitting off. Now, that project went to zero. We can even look at KDA right now. That project completely went kaput. 3 million market cap now, down significantly after that kind of fizzling out. Yeah, those who are pushing KDA, unfortunate. I don't, put down anybody who has a belief in a project, even if they are very emotionally driven about it, very strong belief in it, and therefore quite opinionated, which can come across as being rude at times. Those who lost money in KDA, my hearts go out to you. But this project, of course, did go to zero due to the founders just disappearing. Not enough fundage, whatever the reasons were. I can't even remember now, but it disappeared. What happened to Zcash? You could argue it in a similar light. Difference is it's not, crashed in the same manner that KDA did. Will it, as time goes on? We'll have to wait and see. Zcash is a much bigger project, much more well established. And there is still some form of people, devs working on it. It's just the team kind of split up. So some of them moved away, some of them are still working on it. So we'll see how the recovery goes from here. But you can see the volatility's gone insane because of that. It's not good to see at all. And once more, an inherent issue that comes when you are investing in pretty much anything in this space. The only assets in this space that this sort of, price volatility, I mean, it can never happen with Bitcoin. That is black and white, because the developers, or the ones who kind of created Bitcoin, Nakamoto and even the other ones, if they were to say, bottom line is, there's pretty much nothing at this point that any developer could say that would inherently affect Bitcoin, in my personal belief. because of how the space has matured since Bitcoin's inception and how you've got a crypto casino, you've got centralized entities everywhere, it's all proof of stakes, it's all rubbish, effectively. It has unfortunately put a lot of people in the same mind space that Casper's in a similar light. So my point being is, touch wood again, hopefully never happens, but if there was to be a situation where Tom Polinsky and or Michael Sutton, EasyODev, Crypto Aspect, Code Rostov and all the other core devs had a bit of a falling out and split off, it would definitely cause negative price action in Casper. That's just how it goes. But because Casper is truly decentralized, in the long term, it shouldn't matter. Because Zcash is not truly decentralized, when the core devs split off the way they have done, it does inherently impact the project. Casper's different in that regard. That's why true decentralization actually matters. And people will soon hopefully realize that while we are blessed to have the intellect that is working in Casper Core, even those who are working in developing on Casper, we have blessed to have the intellect. They are not Casper. They are just people who are very, very convicted and devoted in this project. Casper is bigger than them. They're the collective efforts who help create Casper as we are right now, but we are bigger than these people. We are all a collective community. We are all collectively Casper. Good evening, Brett. You're doing very, very well. LB says Morgan Stanley, MCI, Binance, and market makers are highly manipulating the market. MS just launched ETFs. Not surprised there at all. Not surprised there at all. Yes, the smart money do know how to manipulate the markets completely. Kadena or OM, Mantra. Yes, these are prime examples of projects that went to zero. Although Mantra has actually made a bit of a comeback. I say bit, not really by much. You saw that happen recently. If I go to a much smaller time frame, in the month maybe, more so around here. I was thinking there was a period of time, I'm trying to remember what the actual correlation was, but there was a period of time where you saw the projects that pumped and dumped, or the project that dumped and went to zero, like Mantra. I think Luna had a similar spike as well, but these projects that went to nothing, they all saw a significant spike in value, albeit I don't actually know the reason for why, but it did. You saw a bit of a run up. But either way, these projects, they're by and large, they are dead. And that's the risk you take by investing into, investing in general, but especially when you're investing in assets which are proof of stakes. Now, in saying that, I hold proof of stake tokens. I talk about them on VIP. There are certain picks, AI picks as well, that I'm looking into that I have already told my VIPs about, and I'm going to make a proper Google document rundown of it in the coming week. But we are looking at other projects because we see them as potential money-making opportunities. We're hopefully going to make that capital and invest it elsewhere as well. But there are many ways to make money in the space. It's just being careful and adjusting your risk tolerance accordingly. If you want to find out more, that sort of stuff, or even just level up your understanding on the market, which helps you have more conviction in Casper, then check out the VIP. As always, links are down below in the description. Now, before we get into more of the questions, I do see that we have Falco back in the chat. Welcome back. We also have Bingo Bango, Geek, Greg, and many others before we get into those, and also Casper Lover as well, which I see the question about Zcash Dev joined the chat, or Zcash Dev team joined the chat. Maybe, I'm not too sure. I know we have heard talk about Jonathan Polinsky speaking with Zcash devs way back when, last month. People are saying, and people are apparently speculating or apparently hearing, that Zcash has joined Casper in some capacity. I haven't heard anything concrete about that. If it happens, fantastic. If it doesn't, then so be it. But we'll see where this development blooms from here as well. But welcome back to those, of course, who are tuning in right now. And before we get into any more questions, because I have been doing this for a while now, let's get into the actual title of today's stream. This title correlates to the video I made earlier, which we're going to replay this video courtesy of Crypto Crew. Shout out to you. He took the time, something that I've not had the time to do yet, and I will do eventually, but he went through the blockchain banter space that took place on Monday, where Rory dropped some bombshells, absolutely massive stuff. In this particular instance, he's talking about the Warp Core that was released in a sandbox environment. I believe it was on the 5th of January, 3 days ago, which basically just means that these financial institutions now have the ability to retain their self-sovereignty while being able to transact on Casper's fast finality 10 BPS protocol. So it's game-changing stuff right now. We're going to listen to the interview, and then we're going to get into posts like this, which, to go through the post, KRI, Warp Core RS-2022 in, Casper finality out. Warp Core acts as a universal adapter, RS-2022 into deterministic Casper logic. Very, very big stuff. Still decentralized. Apparently already being utilized by banks according to Rory, according to the KRI. This is a very big deal. So before we continue onwards as well, listen very closely here to this segment of the interview from Crypto Crew.
As of today, there are live financial institutions testing Warp Core and their financial messaging on Kaspa. In this phase 1 testing, we're just doing simple credit transfers. That's quite easy to achieve. We've approached the financial institutions saying, look, you don't have to replace anything. This is just a very simple plugin that acts as a compliance and privacy guarantee. So, for example, there's no raw ISO messages on chain. There's no names. There's no IBANs. There's no account numbers exposed. All the hashes are salted per institution. And then we have jurisdiction-specific redaction policies supported as well. This is quite important because there's zero ambiguity then in any of the messages that are sent. The execution mapping is very clear. There's a provable non-repudiation of any transactions, and then there's very simple machine verifiable audit trails, and then there's no dependency on counterparties for evidence. The bottom line is Warp Core turns the ISO 222 flows into cryptographically provable financial events anchored to a public timeline that can't be altered without touching funds or leaking any data.
This is significant news. Very, very big news. For a number of reasons. Crypto Crew gives a bit of a rundown of the key points from Rory here as well. Talk about how there's no need to replace anything, which is one big factor, because one thing these big institutions either don't want to do or will struggle to do is the idea of incorporating new technology. No one likes taking that new step. Of course, it's necessary, but the idea of doing something new is always quite daunting. With Warp Core, they don't have to put in new coding or anything. It's literally a plug and play. It's all it is. And it ensures compliance and privacy. So it's a big, big boost, which requires very little effort to done. It's all just running through Warp Core, running on Casper. So there's no raw ISO messaging on chain. And I see all the jokes about raw in the chat. You guys are very childish. But no raw ISO messages on chain, no names, IBANs, or account numbers exposed. All hashes are salted per institution with jurisdiction-specific redactions. This means zero ambiguity in messages, clear executions, mapping, provable non-repudiation of transactions, and simple machine verifiable audit trails with Casper. Also means that it is feasibly impossible to alter any of the data without it being detected. Warp Core is huge. People are still showcasing their distrust of KRI because they can't see anything taking place, and it's going to be hard for anyone to see anything taking place at KRI because they are an institutional industrial body. We retail will very rarely see what's happening. We have seen some stuff, albeit not a lot, but I choose to trust that what KRI are doing is significant. I choose to believe what they're doing is very, very big. And then I want to now segue into this. This is one of my premium insights, the hundreds of thousands of documents I have in my VIP community. This one we found earlier today. This was posted by McKinsey, and this one from McKinsey, I believe it was posted. It was posted this year, so sometime within the last week or so. It's a very, very, very recent document, which spoke about the regulatory reset that is approaching, that's going to be taking place this year, 2026. Now, this article, it's not a long one, although it does have a lot of links to more in-depth information. You can all find that out again in the VIP if you're a part of it. But this article here, at least the last section of the article, highlighted two key elements looking ahead into 2026, but also the rise of data centers. Now, these two blew my mind because of what was stated here and also the correlation this has to what is already taking place in KRI, with DII, and with Casper. Just to make it known, DI Desert Energy has already liked the post. Now, it doesn't really amount to confirmation by any means, but DI have liked the post, so they've acknowledged this post here. The two key parts, the importance of substantial data centers, and the winners in 2026 will be those that, quote, embrace flexible principle-based regulations, so rewarding those who turn regulatory hurdles into a massive competitive advantage. Now, this is great for Casper. This McKinsey document here for me is, almost a signal that Casper's on the radar. If not knowingly, the idea and concept of what Casper's building is on their radar. Once they discover that Casper is what they've been looking for, the snowball effect, the floodgates are going to open like nothing before. So in regard to the data center part, well, I made a video on this. I feel like it was the last video I made before this one. So quite a while back now. This video here 2 weeks ago. The $7 trillion secret. How DII and KI will make Casper unstoppable. This went into more detail, this video 2 weeks ago, regarding the data centers, the new super off-takers of clean energy. This document here from DII, which talks about the sustainable green data centers. And while not name dropping Casper, it heavily correlates the need for a Casper-like protocol with AI as well. You can again watch that video that I posted 2 weeks ago and you'll see everything about that there. So we know DII are already aiming to build these green data centers that McKinsey are talking about in this document here. Global standards on what makes a sustainable data are anticipated. That's what they need to see right now. These are key elements. And then looking ahead in 2026, there are 3 bullet points. Financial institutions will be defined by their ability to integrate technological innovations with robust but adaptive governance frameworks. Already big there. Jurisdictions that embrace flexible principle-based regulatory frameworks are likely to attract greater investments and foster developments. And finally, 2026 will reward those that can transform legal and regulatory challenges into efficiencies and competitive differentiations in an increasingly digital and uncertain financial ecosystem. We just listened to this clip from Rory O'Neill, where they spoke about the jurisdiction-specific redactions. As I made the post about, right here, KI has actually, at least allegedly, choose to believe KI are not up to you. I choose to believe them, but they have already solved that regulatory hurdle that McKinsey is talking about here with their warp core that's running in Sandbox right now. So it's still early doors, but this warp core has built-in jurisdiction redaction policies for these financial institutions, which basically means the banks can use Casper's 10 BPS speed while retaining self-sovereignty and 100% compliant with their local laws. That is huge. That is a big signal. So for me, this McKinsey document, while they're not name-dropping Casper, what they're talking about completely correlates to the workings of DII Desert Energy and the KII in regards to what they're trying to build Casper right now, which is absolutely huge news. And as I mentioned in the video that I posted earlier, talking on once more this document from Sygnum Bank, this classified document they posted last month that I have showcased publicly, snippets of it. It's over 100-page document as well, so the whole breakdown of it, or bigger breakdown of it, is available again in the VIP. But this document here, one of the 100 things they mentioned here was talking about the primary reasons why these big trillion-dollar companies are not in crypto right now. There are a number of reasons, but to list just the top 5, regulatory uncertainty. We spoke about that earlier this stream. We'll see that hopefully come through end of Q1, maybe even early Q2. But that's one big roadblock they need to see removed. We'll see institutions flooding their capital in. The next 4 are very important. This one particular, asset volatility. While crypto is very undervalued, Casper's 1.5 billion market cap, of course, it's going to be very volatile. We've seen Casper down 6% earlier today, and now it's down 3%. That's not going to change for the time being. But as the market continues to grow and mature, the volatility will also lessen as well. So that's a matter of time. The next 3 ones are important though. Custody and security concerns, lack of trust, information asymmetry. This is everything that correlates to what Warp Core is with Casper. Letting them retain their own self-sovereignty, their own privacy. It's impossible to alter the information without detection. It is exactly what these smart money big banks are looking for, and banks are apparently already using it in the sandbox mode, which is huge. If you want to find out more, this is why, as I mentioned in the video, why during times of price volatility, when Casper's going down for the millionth time at this point, why I still retain my logical thesis, why I remain calm, and why I normally choose to DCA at these values, because I see what is being built, I see what the smart money are looking to invest into, and I understand how Casper fits these ethos. So it's only a matter of time, if not already, till Casper gets on their radar and they start then pushing capital into the project. If you want to find more premium insights like these, level up your understanding of what the big money are looking to invest into, so therefore we can front run them effectively and get ahead of it, or front run the retail market, get ahead of them, so we can buy the dips, hopefully sell the highs. If you want to find out more information, stuff like here from McKinsey, from Signum Bank, and loads of other documents. We also posted another one today which came talking regarding AI again and the significance of it. Find out a lot more here in the VIP. You can join right now for a 7-day free trial. Just get the link down below in the description. Equally, you can find a lot more information about the VIP in the free Discord server, and if you follow the steps in the free Discord server and you check out the Get VIP Access channel, you will see this information here, which talks about the steps you need to take to sign up to BYDFI, and also doing so, message me and I'll give you a 1-month free trial to the VIP. You get access to all the information for a month period, and you can then find out more. And if you want to sign on longer, you're more than welcome to. Speaking of BYDFI, they've currently got a trading campaign going on right now. It ends on the 15th, so only a week left, but you have a chance to win up to $10,000 in Casper. Very exciting stuff here. So all information, all links about that down below in the description. Go check that out and maximize your gains with trading, with information, knowledge, and everything going on in crypto for what I believe to be the most important year. 2026, I think, is going to be an absolutely massive year for crypto. Volatile, for better and for worse, but you're going to see a lot of money made this year in the VIP and in general as well. Now, to get into a few other key points here, before we get some more questions real quickly. We are going to be having a very, very interesting KEF AMA taking place tomorrow, apparently, which will have the likes of Levindy and Wolfie's Bar attending. I think they'll be talking a bit about the projects of Blockchain Banter and the stuff they got going on Wolfie, and I think also their Crumpet Media as well. Shout out to them, the work they're doing. I just saw myself actually in that photo, so I just want to go back there because I'm egotistical and I want to see myself. Where am I? There I am. Beautiful self. But yeah, you've got Levendy, of course, will be talking there. Wolfie will be talking there as well. Chris might turn up. We'll have to wait and see. But they're happening tomorrow, 2 p.m. UTC or BST. So if you can tune into that, then definitely do so. Set those reminders. And you'll see a lot of very interesting stuff coming regarding Casper and also on this channel. There's some very, very exciting things in the works. I can say that. Not going to release too much just yet until I have further confirmation, but got some very exciting things in the works that should be taking place starting next week and then snowboarding from there. So this year's going to be a big one for the channel, for the community, and for Casper as well. Stay tuned for that. But we're seeing more talks, more understanding, more big things coming to Casper, which is fantastic. So this is coming tomorrow. Over the last 2 years, the Kaspa Global Tour has carried the Silver K to stages worldwide. At every destination, the cornerstone of a successful event has been the incredible energy and support of the local community. Now we're bringing together the seasoned voices from Hong Kong, France, and the UK to share the how-to behind these moments. Of course, Vendy, part of that Wolfie's Bar, key elements behind the UK scene, or at least they are big elements in the UK scene. Apologies for attending these events. I've already attended one. I plan to attend a lot more. Maybe I'll become one of these voices in the future as well. But absolutely incredible stuff. I'm looking forward to hearing about that. And speaking on that as well, just a little bit more news here, which I thought is a bit of banter, if you will, here as well. Casper Commons, formerly known, or it is Chad, who used to formerly run the unofficial Casper account, said what is KIP, aka the Casper Improvement Proposals, is a formal way of anyone in the community to propose changes or additions to the Casper protocol with no central authority. KIP provide a transparent, community-driven path for ideas to be discussed, reviewed, and, if approved, implemented. It matters because you've got KIP 17, 16, and 18 that stand out because together They outline a clear path for Casper's next phase: native assets on the layer 1, trust anchored off-chain execution, and scalable application design. Each one solves a different problem. One of these include covenants, I think that's 17. But all three work together to expand what can be built on Casper while preserving its core strength, which is huge, huge stuff. And then you've got some banter going on here as well, which I, to put a little light touch on the stream, Wolfie just asked here, I have a suggestion on us drinking a beer with every block mined. How do I submit it? And all replies here saying, the proposal protocol can be very intimidating for newcomers, so I decided to give you a hand. And Michael Sutton just said, this is brilliant. I actually suspect Wolfie and Chris have majority of the world beer supply, hence their clear motivation to support this, which is proof of hangover. There's one thing about us Brits, we love a drink. I mean, I'm actually not much of a drinker myself, but because I'm a Brit, I can drink, to say the very least. And yeah, definitely went down a treat in the chat with Chris. Finally, I contributed to Casper in a meaningful way. Wolf and I shouting you down with drinking. We will VProg the hell out of that beer. And it looks like, very, very well received. After you drink the beer, it definitely sounds about right. So yeah, let's see that the banter and Casper is still well ongoing. And it's nice to see the community in such a light. I think that's one thing that Casper has, not just a very well-connected and I'd argue quite educational community, but also the ability to put quite a light touch on things, not having to take everything so seriously all the time, which our streams are quite like that. But we do joke around here and there as well. I mean, I know Mr. Miles is a very, very big aspect to that when he is here, always trying to bully me, and Crypt20 recently take up the reins on that as well, which I appreciate and loathe you both for, and everyone else, but we're a family here, so you can't say no to family, right? Now to get some more questions real quickly, if I see about anything I've missed particularly, just going up a little bit. We have one here for, Trump talking about Colombia. I've seen a bit about that. We'll see what happens there as well. Jay said Kalshi, then an ad popped up for it. Wow. Crazy. They're listening. Welcome back. I want to say hello to Falco as well. Wintermute, it's aliens. I mean, it could be Wintermute, that wallet one. Aliens, I mean, maybe. Who knows? Keep that cash cheap for a bit longer. Oh yeah, honestly, Dung, the longer it's down, the better I feel. This stuff is so huge. This information here, what the smart money are looking into and how it correlates to Casper is so big that once the smart money realize that Casper is the solution they're looking for, it won't be cheap anymore. So we are here trying to front run them. That's my personal belief. Of course, again, it's not financial advice. Always do your own research. My research here tells me we're in the right space. I know Sailor had a wallet. He and Fred Thiel are close friends. Yeah, that's also, I mean, I can't guarantee if Sailor had a wallet, but I know that him and Fred Thiel are acquaintances or friends. And of course, Fred Thiel is the CEO of Marathon Digital Holdings, who of course are mining Casper, and they have increased the allocation of Casper throughout 2025. I think it was by 20 billion or so. We'll see if they bought more. We'll have to wait and see, of course, when their next report comes out, which will be next month in February. Their quarterly report for Q4 2025 will come out in February of this year. And yeah, to go back to this question, I'm not entirely sure if the Zcash dev team has joined. Let's just say the team he has joined this chat today, which would be interesting to see that happen. I'm not saying it's not possible. I've had crazy stuff happen to this chat before. I think I had the KRI once join this chat actually, once upon a time. Maybe we'll see that happen again soon. Who knows? But yes, Zcash. We'll see what happens with that. I know that we did see Jonathan Polinsky mention, last month that he has spoken to the Zcash dev, Solana, and also to Near Protocol, and they all were very intrigued by the idea of a DAG and wanted to spread that understanding wider, make it more well known. I'll see if I can find the post about it. I don't think it was too far back. It's around here, I believe. Knowing me, knowing Twitter, it can be very, very weird. Sometimes the posts don't show up, they show up in the reply section, so I have to go to that instead, which is just a ball ache, honestly. I wish Twitter would fix that. Okay, I don't think I'm going to be able to find it here. I know it was mentioned. I think it's in my reply section. I'll see if I can find that another time. But yeah, Jonas Sobolinski was in Abu Dhabi, I believe it was, and he met with the Zcash, with Solana, with Near Protocol, and some others, and they were intrigued by by DAG. So who knows if they come to Casper in the future? Maybe that's what you see with Zcash right now. That's speculation, though. I haven't heard anything concrete about it. The creators of Facebook. Oh, you mean they're the ones who are talking about Zcash? I mean, again, Adam, I have no idea. I haven't checked it myself, but honestly, I wouldn't put it past it at this point. Zcash and crypto's growing more anyways. And yes, I've already said welcome, but welcome once again, Geek, Bingo, and Greg once again to the channel, to the stream. You're doing very, very well this fine evening or day, wherever you are in the world. The Winklevoss twins, often referred to as the Facebook brothers due to the high-profile lawsuit against Mark Zuckerberg, have recently made a major investment in Zcash. Ah, interesting. Well, how's that investment looking right now? I mean, they might also be the reason why Zcash has not gone down too significantly, because they're holding it. But yeah, interesting times. It's, again, I understand why you invest into it as a privacy token, and that concept became very, very big last year in particular for obvious reasons. But it's centralized. How secure is a privacy token when it can be controlled by a small number of people? And yeah, we'll go back to it, KDA chart looks horrible. Absolutely horrible. Where is it? Here it is. Come down like a hot knife through butter. If you're trying to buy the dip, it's like trying to catch a falling knife right now of KDA. It's just had its peak back in 21. People were hoping, I mean, I was always very skeptical about Kadena, because you had the peak in 2021, and something that I've seen quite common is most assets that peaked in that 2021 cycle, you know, they normally had a bit more of a run up, you know, even in last cycle, but KDA did, like, it was nowhere near. It had a massive blow off top, and then it's been down ever since. And of course, then it had what happened, and now it's gone to nothing. It's a shame. It's a shame. I mean, I never invested into it, and I never really had belief in it. But those who did, it's a shame, and I'm really sorry for that. The project panned the way it did. Cloak privacy layer protocol on Casper was nice to see. I've heard like whispers about it. I've not looked too much into that. We do need privacy features on Casper. That would be huge as well. I'm sure you're going to see developments coming out to fill that void in the coming months, even years to follow. And as Gosu says, I appreciate you as always. Definitely, if you enjoy the content, the daily content, leave a like, share with your friends, subscribe for more. You know the deal. And welcome, yes, Buffalo, as always. And now back to the whole question about jokes about raw when we're talking about this part here. We also have here steak tartare is not my thing. Yeah, I don't normally have tartare. I do like a steak, but steak tartare is also not particularly my thing either. But everyone has their own taste, right? Medium rare is the way. I agree with that. Medium rare is definitely the way forward. I used to be a well done man. I am medium rare now, so don't come at me. I used to be a well done man. Then I went to a medium, and I was like, because it was the idea of blood in a steak. I didn't like the idea of it, and then I had a medium rare, and I was like, a proper done medium rare. I was like, oh, you know what? It is just better. But I understand the concept of not wanting one because of the blood aspect. So I mean, I will never come at anybody for not eating a medium rare, at least not yet. Who knows what happens in the future? Welcome back, LB, Buffalo, Pesky Poo, as always, welcome. Hope you're doing very, very well. I worked for Resorts, 4 Seasons AZ with the top chef, Chicago. She used to let me pick out the souffle of the night. That's honestly quite impressive, actually. I work at 4 Seasons right now. Damn. Wow, small world, huh? Crazy. Been doing events for hotels for 15 years. Mad. Crazy stuff. Hopefully by last year. Hopefully Casper makes a massive gain and we can all retire. That'd be the dream. And welcome back, Indigenous. Yes, it is very, very great news indeed. Seeing this report from McKinsey, seeing what Warp Core and DRI are doing and how it correlates to what smart money are looking at, which just lets us know that in these big, again, to reiterate, Baker McKinsey are a $1 billion law firm, and they represent, their client list is over 90% of the Fortune 500 companies. They are a huge, huge deal. I've had multiple reports in my VIP from McKinsey already, dropping absolute massive alpha. And this snippet here that I've posted on Twitter. And of course, the whole doc was available in the VIP if you want to go check that out. It talks about a number of key elements which easily correlate to what DRI and KRI are doing, which lets us therefore know that they do know what they're doing. I understand not trusting KRI or DRI. I say I understand it. Well, I do because people are not seeing proof and evidence of that, so I can understand the standoffish nature of KRI and DRI. But you must know and trust Baker McKinsey. I mean, we're not trust the right word, but you must know Baker McKinsey. They are a huge institution. You don't look them up. You'll see how significant they are. Learn about them. Join the VIP. You'll learn a lot more about them and the big stuff they spoke about as well. What they're saying here is very, very significant. They represent kind of the basically represent the intellectual body of all the big banks as well in finance. Their client list, and they're telling us here what they're looking into. What are going to be the winners in regards to this year, in regards to, I guess, investment side of things, at least from what we're looking at it. And talk about data centers, sustainable data centers, and also bridging that regulatory gap, which is what Walkall's doing for KRI and what DRI are doing with what DRI is also doing with data centers with Casper. So it's huge news here. So let me have more conviction in what KRI and DRI are doing. While I'm not seeing too much in regard to what they're building, it lets me know that they're at least in the right spaces, and that for me is significant enough. I actually had a little dispute with somebody on Twitter earlier who was upset about when I reposted the video that I made on my Twitter saying that it was complete rubbish because there's no way that KRI and DRI are legit, basically. And I'm like, why are you coming at me for this? If you have a problem with them, message them. I'm simply just reiterating the information that I've seen. And I choose to believe it, so I'm talking about it. I can fact check how much I can fact check, but some things are impossible to fact check to NDAs. So that's whether you want to believe them or not. But I choose to believe what they're doing. And then, of course, I mentioned this document, other document here as well, this other classified document from Signum Bank I spoke about already a few times. But the whole doc is available on VIP as well, talking about what we need to take into account. So when you see these shifts happen, just know massive amount of capital is going to be flooding into the market. Clarity is going to be a big development. These hurdles, once they are surpassed, which Casper surpassed a lot of them, you'll see capital flood again. So we know where to invest as a result of that. You want to find out more, get the alpha insights, learn more, get ahead of the retail market and even front run institutions, and even make gains actively through trading. We're doing trades consistently in there. We made quite a big gain this week. I need to get back to posting on Twitter the gains and losses as well so people can see it publicly. But I want to find out more, be it through trading and much more, check out the VIP 7-day free trial or 1 month free trial BYDFI. Links are down below in the description, and you can find everything about it in the free Discord server, which also is down below in the description. Well, that's awesome. Ready to get to hang out with the guests? Yeah, I know, it's very, very awesome news. Very awesome news. We'll see a lot more coming through very soon, no doubt. Or unless you're talking to Adam here, which is also, yeah. Okay, never mind. I had a party when I hung out and sang and drank with Mr. Miyoki from Karate Kid. That is actually very cool. That is very, very cool. I'm quite jealous. But I got to see Jonathan Polinsky in real life, so who's the real winner? So I'm just being a child there. Welcome, Prophet Google. It's over, Johnny. Sure. We had a stock for Cherry Coke for Bill Gates' wife when they visited. Warren Buffett was there that weekend too. You have seen some very high profile people, or served very high profile people, which is insane. So hats off to you there, Adam. That's massive stuff. Now, with that being said, family, that does conclude today's Casper Crypto live stream. All of the big bulk content there in regards to wallet addresses, in regards to these developments, Supreme Court regulations, these alpha documents or snippets of such that I've showed to my VIP. If you want to access the whole documents and much more, again, links down below. Check out the VIP, use the free trial. At the very least, leverage this, because these won't be here forever. I do plan to move them at some point when I believe the time is right, but these free trials won't be there forever, so utilize them while they're still available. Basically get Stevie behind what's really going on, the big information, and use that to leverage and learn more. Links are down below in the description. That being said, if you enjoyed the stream, leave a like, share, subscribe for more. Have a great day, good evening, and good night. And I'll see you